might be having some technical difficulties. We're glitching pretty hard.
Game not over.
Hey, everybody. This is Keith Gleason from Indie Comics Relay. Uh-oh. All right, let's start over. Hey, everybody. This is Keith Gleason from Indie Comics Relay. I'm the creator of Mighty Mascots. And with me, as always, Johnny C. All right.
Hey, here we go. Dude, we were glitching hard for a minute there.
Yeah, I saw you kind of coming in and out in the backstage. Do you any idea what's going on?
Well, and I believe Missrena was experiencing the same issue. It was just repeating the opening sequence over and over again. And I'm like, oh no, I'm glitching. So like I jumped out and I went onto my phone, okay. And then that started doing the same thing. And then Missrena was like, yes, I'm doing, we're glitching too. So I was like, oh no, maybe this is like a StreamYard thing. So I went back to the iPad, and then you let me into the show. So I guess we're working. Fingers crossed this, carries through.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been running fine on my side here. I don't know what it could possibly be.
I have no idea.
I guess
you can hear me now, though, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll proceed with caution and see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Everybody out there, are you seeing any glitches in the audience?
Yeah,
when we're talking
the audience. Chime in if we're glitching at all, or if we sound like Max Headroom.
Roger said, "I wonder what was going on." So, Roger, are you seeing? Are we like?
My cousin Roger?
Yeah, he said wondered what was going on. So I don't know what that means, but
who knows?
All right.
We'll just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah, let's just go and we'll see what happens. Hopefully this isn't a total loss, but we'll see. So, dude, what's been going on? I know we've been kind of going weekly here for a little while. I think after tonight we're back on our bi-weekly schedule now, finally, which is nice. Oh, wait, you're saying we're fine now, but the intro was heated, and I wasn't sure if I was in the right place. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe
that's what was happening.
Glitch.
Yeah, there was a glitch of some sort.
Huh. Maybe because we haven't used that intro in a while. Maybe that could be it. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because we've been using the shorter one. Maybe. I don't know. I was going to change it up a little bit tonight, and, it's what happened, right?
It's all good, but we're here now live.
Yeah. So what have you been up to, buddy? Let's pretend
like
none of that.
Yeah, let's wipe the slate clean. Well, I mean, things have been busy for me. Lots of personal stuff, lots of other comic stuff.
Freaking crazy or what?
Work's still crazy as always. I've got I'm planning for San Diego. That's coming up in about a month.
Right,
so
right around the corner. You have to get all your books ready and.
Yeah, and then I've got SDCC and Terrificon back to back, and those are literally two of the bigger shows I attend. Yeah. So I'm figuring that out, and I've got NYCC that I'm still waiting to hear back on for an artist table. Yeah, so fingers crossed on that too.
Them too. I did email the guy that I think is handling the small press, and he said that they were still working on what's the other show they do? Chicago. I mean, there's something going on.
C2E2.
Yeah, there was a show that they're planning or that's coming up for them.
August, C2E2.
That's what it is. And then, so he said once they're through that, then they start looking at New York. So I told him, hey, we've been there the last 6 years. Just send me the bill and it'll be paid, So we'll see what happens, with that. But it's been nuts too, man. I've been nonstop. The closer I get to Plastic City, the crazier shit becomes,
Yeah, for sure. You got Plastic City, you got a campaign that you're prepping to launch, and we got the show. You got your other stuff that you're doing. You got a regular office job, so you're not for a lack of things to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. And while we're talking about that, it was to get the campaign. So the pre-launch page is up for Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9. Sign up, get back on day one, and you will get an exclusive sticker. This is going to be awesome. We got some great variant covers. We got 3 new issues with a bunch of new characters. So it's gonna be really cool. I just started getting some pages in for issue 7 as well.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so we're actually already starting on it, without the funding, which I can't carry on for too long. So I definitely need to get the funding in there. But also wanted
Good to be ahead of the curve, though.
It is, yeah, to get started. Plastic City Comic Con almost a month away, or a little more than a month away. So can't wait for that. We are almost, we're pretty much full. Everybody's, all the tables are sold out. The only thing I have left is like some spots in the kids area, but we're looking kind of for like kid-friendly vendors for that. So
definitely not Scott the sword guy for that one.
No, but Scott's in the show.
Nice.
We got him in, so he's in there. But we got a crazy list. I think one of our guests tonight, Craig, is actually in the show as well.
Nice. I can't wait.
Man, look at this list, Johnny. Crazy, huh? One thing.
Major list.
One thing we
Go
ahead.
I was just saying, how much of that is rollover from pre-COVID to new attendees or new exhibitors, rather?
It's probably about 90%, I would say. I mean, a lot of people that didn't roll over just can't do the show because they're either the new date messed them up and they have other things going on. Some people didn't even realize the show was happening. I had to actually sit down and reach out to everybody on the list, make sure they're coming, because I didn't want a situation where half the show has empty tables, so that's going to be, we should have every table full again, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which you're pretty good at doing that. Like, rarely do you go to Plastic City and you find that there's empty spots. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good thing to
goes to the show, So they'll make money there too, vendor. So so it's going along pretty good. I just got to get those final kid vendors in, and then we're good to go,
Nice.
So I'm getting everything. We started putting out signs everywhere this weekend.
Oh, nice.
So we're almost done that. And then I still got to hit a couple more comic stores, which I might do this weekend, out in Salem and things like that. I want to hit Harrison's and a few other stores further out, with cards and things like that. But nice. It's chugging along. Nice. And you mentioned in the green room that you wanted to show off a few things before we bring the guest in tonight.
So this is long overdue. Okay. But like over the weekend, I had a little bit of free time where I was a little bit idle, and I was like, well, what can I be doing to be productive right now? And I had a stack. And when I say stack, like 4 feet of unopened Kickstarter stuff.
Oh, wow. Just
because I've been backing so much more, I haven't been able to open as I receive them. I kind of like stick it on the pile, like I'll get to this. Well, I don't know if you recall the guests who had the comic book. I believe his name was Adam Coswell, and he had Bigfoot Nose Karate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess when I pledged to that campaign, there was a raffle going on.
Okay.
And I actually won the raffle.
Okay.
So I opened up the prize pack, and they sent me a bunch of cool stuff I wanted to share. So first, check this out right here. This is a Bigfoot Nose Karate. It's all sketched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Sketch. It's not a print.
Real sketch. So yeah, when you look at behind, it's all bled through. So this is all real deal sketched by the artist. There's my favorite one in the corner there.
Oh, wow.
Right there.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So it came with this.
Yeah.
Variant cover.
Oh, cool.
Which I don't know if that's sketched or not. It might be. Maybe not, but it looks really good. But there is a sketch in the back. So.
Oh, wow. So extra sketch on top of that. No kidding.
Right, but here's the real kicker. Here's the real sweet piece.
Okay. Well, wow. Oh, you got a full page?
I got a full page of original art.
Oh, wow.
From the book.
Crap.
Right?
Wow.
Look how awesome that is.
Did they sign it too?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There you go, Adam Coswell.
That's fantastic, dude. Wow. Fan art page. No kidding.
Yep.
I haven't seen a Kickstarter do that before. That's really cool.
So original art. I was just shocked to receive it.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
usually when you get like a prize, it's like, oh, we'll do a sketch cover or something. But they went the full 9 yards in this one. And I just want to thank the guys from Bigfoot Knows Karate. I hope they come back on the show. And it was really cool for them to go the extra mile and send all this cool stuff for just for little old me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, if you ever want to make an unboxing video, definitely do it and send it to me. We'll put it on the channel, as you're opening that stuff,
Yeah, for sure. So this was more of like a production line when I was doing it over the weekend because I had so much.
What it was, yeah.
Yeah, I have so much, and there's still a few I haven't opened. I'm looking at here to my left and whatnot.
Like 3 packages over here that I haven't opened, but I'm gonna wait until I can record an unboxing,
Yeah, I haven't recorded anything like that personally, so it would probably be a something new for me to do. But maybe in the future with a little bit more calm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just put on the camera like this, and I open it, and then
you just open it up. Yeah.
Pretty much,
Well, I remember I remember the one you did for the Dragon's Lair arcade. Yeah, the tabletop.
And I started doing comic unboxings, a couple of them so far. Just so I was like, why not? I'm not doing really reviews anymore, so I'm just looking for other things to do.
Right.
And that seemed like a no-brainer, because then when you put the video up on social media, you can tag all the people and get kind of that extra, a
little extra bump and buzz out of it.
Bump, and
Actually,
I one I did the unboxing last week, and one of the items was the Nandor Fox Schaefer's man-child. Yeah. I tagged him in it, and he went and watched the video, and then he said, "Hey, I'm going to be doing number 2. Can I schedule a day?" So I already have him scheduled for some.
Nice.
So he's
we'd love to have him back on. He was just such a wonderful guest.
In your pile somewhere,
Oh no, I opened it. I ended up getting
through it. I haven't read it yet, but I'll try to read it before the show so I can.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the ones that stuck out to me. Black Alpha. I ended up getting the Jack Kirby cover on that one. That one stuck out.
Cool.
And, that came through, and that came with a bunch of cool stuff too, stickers and whatnot. This Bigfoot Knows Karate one. There's quite a few.
Oh yeah, definitely awesome. But all right, before we bring in our guest tonight, let's just check the chat real quick.
Fly to the chat real quick.
Got Ara, as always.
Hey, Ara, thanks for watching, my man.
Amy, my wife, as always, checking in. Hi guys, glad to be here. Of course, man. And then Roger's telling us what was going on. Amy says, Johnny, your mic sounds really loud, pitchy. I don't know if
I'm just loud and pitchy.
That's what I was saying earlier, but look at this. Plastic City buying my ticket later tonight. Ara, if you do that, just keep in mind that Eventbrite does. Oh, that was one thing I was going to say, Johnny. I added an Eventbrite onto Plastic City Comic Con today.
So cool.
You can buy your tickets early if you want to not wait in line. And then we just scan your barcode as you come in. But I was going to say, it's good if you want to cut the line, but the Eventbrite does add the fee in there. So you're not just paying 10, it's like 12. But I mean, it's still cheaper than every Comic-Con out there. So, I figured $2 isn't going to break the bank, and you go right, you can come right in and just get checked real quick,
Yeah, for sure.
I'll put that on our website as well this weekend. Harry said, if you want, I could sign random autographs at Plastic City. Why not? Maybe even my own. We'll set you up. We'll try to figure out a celebrity that you look like, and then we'll say you're that person, And what did he say? I would love to get some video footage from Plastic City. I would love that, Ara. If you want to do that, I mean, by all means, bring your camera in, take footage. I would love that. And then if I would love to take it for when I make an ad for next year. But yeah, come in, shoot as much as you want. Appreciate that.
Shoot the footage.
That'd be great.
We'll do couch auditions.
Yeah, right. All right, great. So, all right, yeah. So that's
Without further ado, we should probably bring our guests in.
yeah. So let's bring in tonight's guest. We'll bring in Craig Holland, who's new to the show. Hey, Craig, a good friend of ours from the convention scene. How's it going tonight?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Good, good. Thanks for being with us. And then also, Missrena from Black Rhapsody is with us tonight. How's it going? Awesome.
It's going good.
We were supposed to actually have
Excellent.
a third guest tonight, Phil Maira, but I got an email earlier today saying he had some kind of family emergency, so he had to duck out of the show tonight. But we will mention his Kickstarter later in
We'll
the show.
pull up the page. Yeah, make sure we
Yeah.
give a shout out to Phil.
Definitely.
Great,
So-
great friend from the Chicago area.
Awesome. So thanks for joining us, guys, both of you. Craig, whenever we have somebody on the show, the first thing we always ask is, was there like a comic book or a cartoon or a movie or something in your past that you saw that kind of put you on the path to wanting to be like a comic creator, an artist, or anything like that? Anything you can point to?
So there's a couple. So I remember, like, I've always liked cartoons as a kid, and there was maybe when I was 10 years old, I went to a flea market with my dad, and this was like early, like around 2002, 2003, and I was going through the comic books there, and I found this holographic Spider-Man cover of issue 375,
Okay.
and I was like, "What is this?" It was like him battling with Venom, and I think it was done by God, what's his name, Mark Bagley.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love Bagel. I actually met him at Terrificon a couple years ago, but I just saw that and I fanned through that so many times. Like,
That's awesome.
I was like, how do people do this? And then, oddly enough, I did like him on Ultimate Spider-Man as well. I didn't realize he was the same artist, but
Yeah, Mark Bagley's pretty good. I like his stuff. It's very dynamic, like dynamic art.
his story is amazing. How like he was like he entered his artwork in like not a raffle, but like a contest. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was something like there in like the back of comic issues or something. There was like some of your comic pages, and he got like picked out of like I don't know how many people.
Okay.
And his career just kind of like took off from there, like doing Spider-Man, New Warriors.
Isn't that funny? Like he won a contest, and that's all it took, to kind of get into like the spotlight a little bit,
It's silly stuff like that where it's like, wow, like people like Jim Lee who like trained a whole year, like, but like then you see Mark Bailey.
How many rejections? Like even
God.
McFarlane. Like if you ever listen to his story, how many times he was rejected before he like actually got like one little job, on comics, and then
I remember reading. It was back when I was in college where I found like a bunch of his like it was like a blog he had where he had a bunch of rejections, and like it was just going through that. And the same thing with Jim Lee where he shared one a couple years ago from like when he was like late 80s, early 90s, and he's like, I used to like every time I got a rejection, I just go on the track and keep running, and just keep saying like I think he kept saying like Kirby, like all the big like Ditko, all those guys. Like he kind of kept them motivated to keep going.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean it goes to show you that like comics is in your blood. Like it's just the people that make it are the ones that just will never stop. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's part of the whole deal. I think it's part of your being. Missrena, how about you? I forget what yours. I know we had you on the show before, but what was your comic movie or TV show from the past that kind of set you on the path to being a comic creator?
It was a lot of stuff, but what put me on the path was me reading a manga called Japanese comic called Red River. That kind of put me on the path to want to be a comic creator in the future because I got into Japanese comics way before I got into like Western comics.
Okay. Yeah,
So a lot of my influences
I find that
towards,
manga
like an anime more than Western stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's like sort of gonna be the thing I think coming in the future now, because I think like
It's already here.
creators coming up now, I think manga is gonna be a bigger influence than Western comics. You can just see it. Like I went into Barnes and on a sidebar here, but I went to Barnes and Nobles like a week or so ago, and you should see how much smaller the Western graphic novel section is now, and how much bigger the manga section is. It's crazy. Like, it's definitely, I think, I definitely think we're seeing, because, Marvel and DC stuff is so bad now, we're definitely seeing the effect of it a couple of years later on, mangas taking over,
Right.
But hey, I mean, they're the ones that dropped the ball. So it's like, you can't blame them, so, but,
Well, also you have to look at the influence of cartoons and anime throughout the generations. While it was, may have been Japanese animated, there was a Western look or a Western style of the cartoons we grew up on.
yeah,
That
true.
next generation had even more of a manga anime look to their cartoons. So when their comic books or their comics started to match that, you could see how it shifted from, characters that look like characters from the G.I. Joe cartoon in G.I. Joe comics to then now being, like Pokemon characters looking like that way in comics. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Someone's saying ears blown.
Oh, is that me? Sorry. I'll shut up now.
I don't. Is it the mics close to you, Johnny, or is it?
I don't know.
Actually,
My technology isn't great.
You sound better when you lean back there, so maybe it is you're too close.
It might be. It might be.
That sounds a lot better. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. But anyways, you still playing?
How about
it?
now? Does that sound better?
Yeah. Actually, that does sound better.
All right. I just had to tweak some settings in StreamYard apparently.
Oh, great. Yeah, that sounds really
All right,
good.
cool.
Okay. So what I was gonna say too about anime, like I remember when I was growing up, and the only way you could get it was if you bought it at Suncoast Video. Do you remember those days?
I've heard about those days. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, I mean, in order to see one movie, it was like $30, and it's like, kids today with the Crunchyroll have it made. Back then it was just like you didn't know what you're buying either. It was just like, well, I hope this is good, But anyways, so
I do have fond memories of going through the video store in the anime section, trying to discover new animes solely by the cover.
That's That's how I discovered Miyazaki. Honestly, one of the first Miyazakis I bought was Castle of Cagliostro, and I took just a shot on it and seeing like, I hope this is good. And I wore that tape out. It was so good, So it's one of those ones that I was, lucky with, But so Craig, so how, you saw Mark Bagley, you were influenced by it, and I imagine you were a collector too at that. Yeah. I started to be at that time. How did you kind of make the jump from, just being a reader to wanting to actually create comics and draw comics? Did you know you could draw?
It was something I always kind of did growing up. I always drew as a kid. I was good. If I had a knock on an art, I probably would have been an architect. That was kind of the more practical. I won't say practical, but that was the what I was geared toward, because I was good at math. I was good at drawing.
Oh, you were going to be an architect?
Oddly enough, yeah. When I say
really?
When I say it, people are like, "Oh, wait, I can see that now," especially with the perspective and all that. And it's as I got older, I got into high school. I took some architecture classes. They really weren't that stimulating to me. It felt kind of just very, very technical, not like Frank
Gehry's. I took one too, and I was curious what your thoughts were. I hated it. I was just like, oh my god, the teacher I had was death.
It was my experience with it. With the whole semester was build a house I can live, because we're all in New England. Built a house I could live in New England, and I pretty much had it good to go. And I just kept fiddling with it for the semester. I'm like, this isn't like Frank Gehry where I can just do really weird, really crazy stuff. And I'm like, all right, I want to do comics.
Sure, we designed the house with stairs upside down, and
seriously, it's oh yeah, you can't have a bedroom more than this dimensions, if not an office. And it's come on, man, let me have some creativity with this.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I actually went to college. Like I said, Drew in high school kind of got me through some bad times, and I went to college in New Hampshire at the New Hampshire Institute of Art, and took a bunch of different classes there, and then kind of worked my way through. And after that, kind of going to conventions, just talking to people, and I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. So if worst case scenario, just do it yourself and put your own work out there and see what happens. So
Yeah. No, that's what they all say, and I agree with that. It's like, like when you read stories about different people trying to break into comics, it always comes back to that. Like, most of the people say you have to just do it. Like, and that's the best advice I've ever seen, for making comics.
There's no magic bullet. No two ways are the same, but one of the common denominators is that, in fact,
Well, yeah, I mean, you can pitch to companies, and certainly people go that route. But like, it's always nice to have stuff made to show them, So, and then plus making comics helps you hone the craft too. Like, I mean, like the first one you make is not as, it's never going to be as good as the current one you're working on. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just practice. It's like when you probably heard this, Craig, like when they say about artists, like that you have like something like 10,000 awful drawings in you before you're actually good, right?
I think it was it's like a Chuck Jones quote where it's either like 10,000 or 100,000, and you just kind of have to keep going until you're at it. And when people ask me where I'm at, I'm like, I lost count. I got to start over again.
Right. Same here. Missrena, how about you? Like, how did you make the transition from being a fan to making comics?
I started conceptualizing Black Rhapsody around that time, and started getting my feet wet when it comes to script writing, because I'm the writer of the book.
Okay.
I went through the script archive to see I would be looking for writers I was familiar with. For example, Ron Mars and his work, because before I got to Western comics, it was Image or Top Cow Comics is what I was into. So I was looking for writers whose style that I was most familiar with.
Okay. Yeah.
Big shout out to Ron Mars from Saratoga Springs, New York.
Does he do the Saratoga Comic-Con?
No, they don't like each other that much, but he's from that area.
Interesting.
And I wanted to say congratulations on Black Rhapsody, because it looks like you're way past goal, right? And you're probably in the stretch goal territory now?
Yep, I am. I just passed my first stretch goal.
Oh,
congrats. That's awesome.
Is anybody hearing that crackling? Johnny, say something again.
I think it's his mic.
Oh, is it me?
It was crackling a tiny bit. All
right, I'm gonna shut up now.
I think you know what it sounds like, Johnny, is something loose. Maybe check the connections.
I'm gonna mime the rest of the episode.
Yeah, there's something going on. It sounds like feedback a little bit, like when the microphone is a little bit loose or something,
Dude, the Wile E. Coyote.
The Wile E.
Right answers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We'll sound.
Yeah. Yeah. So Roland's saying Johnny's breaking up. Yeah, there's something going on with your mic, Johnny. Say something.
Something.
Yeah, there's something. It's like I don't know. Did you want to dip out and try connecting on something else?
I can try a different device.
Yeah, go ahead, and I'll carry the.
I'll dip out. I'm gonna try a different device. See how this flies.
Awesome. All right. So and then so let's go back to Craig here. So Craig, how long have you actually been making comics? Have you just started, or were you always an illustrator and then started to make comics?
Yeah, so I graduated college in 2014. I've been doing freelance illustration on the side since then.
Okay.
I self-published my first comic book back in 2017, and I did my most recent one last year. So I'd say probably I started doing fan art around 2016, and been kind of doing conventions and stuff since then. So that's why I've been kind of.
Is that when you started doing shows, around 2016?
Yeah, I'd say 2016 is when I started. Then 2017, I started going to more, and then 2020 I decided to take a break. I figured you just need a full-on year, dude.
Well, sometimes you get to that point where
coincidentally, pandemic happened.
Yeah. Well, that too. But I find with the convention scene, if you don't have new stuff, it's hard to keep doing the same shows every year because you just end up hitting that same like customer base. So you start seeing a hit on your profits, you know. There's certain shows I do every year just because we do well at them. I don't know why, but like, you know, especially if I don't have anything new, there's usually, you know, enough of an audience there. And plus Amy's always making new prints and stuff. So usually it's worth it, you know? What was I going to say? What was the first Comic-Con that you did? Do you remember?
I think I did a little one called Halfway to Granicon. It was in Concord, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was really small. I think the only thing I did after was do you remember Massive Con in Worcester?
Yeah. They were there they did what, 2-3 shows and then they were gone.
Something like that. I think the year after that is when they did their last show and they just, we'll come back, and then they just never came back. The same
I did the first one and it was miserable. Like there was no one there. I think we made like $50 the entire weekend. It was bad. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this show. It was so bad that the celebrities were walking the floor, you know, and it was like, oh boy, you know. I had the guy the guy that played not Iceman, but the guy that he's got a twin brother, like the guy that played Iceman in the X-Men movies has a twin brother.
Yeah, I know.
The twin brother was at the show.
One of the Ashmore kids.
Yes, he was like he was on a sci-fi show. I forget what
he was on. Animorphs or
something like that. He was the one at the show, and he was just walking around looking at everybody's stuff. And I just ended up giving him a comic. I was like, "Hey, man, read it on your flight home," you know. And he was like, "Yeah, he's loving it." So that was kind of cool. But yeah, what a disaster of a show. And then I heard the next 2 years were just as bad. So
I remember 2016 for me, like it was, again, for like technically first big show, and I really didn't know much going into it. 2017, it was like it was very spaced out, like all the tables. Like, okay, that's not a good sign. Then I ended up dipping at like 3:00 the next day. Like I'm like, all right, I'm whatever, not really, you know, worth my time. And as I'm like packing up, people are like, oh yeah, I wanted your print. I go 2 feet, unload, get it to them. I go like a few more feet. Oh yeah, man, I wanted your like. My strategy is to pretend I'm leaving so people buy stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you work that into your sales pitch, you know.
which is a shame because like Worcester, that area, like it's a big venue. Like
it was nice. It was a nice setup. They had everything but people. Like the show was good, but it didn't have fans. Like they either didn't advertise it well or. You know, I don't know what's going on. It's the same guys that run Granite State, which is crazy, you know.
And that show the past few years has been like off the walls. Like it's kind of like jarring that like maybe they still have a following enough down there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. They had all the elements there. It just I don't know. And it's shocking too that no one's gotten anything going in Worcester. You know, like Worcester's such a big city, and I don't know why they couldn't make it work. But whatever, you know. Somebody will one of these days, you know. Actually, someone Roland had said in the chat that he was the Jimmy Olsen's twin on Smallville, and Ara said Warehouse 13. That was the show I was trying to think of.
Okay.
How about you, Missrena? Did you do any conventions at all, or are you?
No, well,
online?
I did used to go to conventions, not as a creator, but as like a fan.
Gotcha.
But
so you
if
never
you talk
set
about
up as
from
a creative.
like selling my book at conventions, no, I'm still relatively new to the scene.
Gotcha. Yeah, and this is your first campaign, correct? That you're doing?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I want to show off some of this stuff here that you guys are doing. Let me bring up this screen here. Hopefully Johnny will be back at some point. All right, so let's take a look at Black Rhapsody. So this is Missrena's campaign. Looks really cool. It's cool. Very looks manga-esque, I would say. And you said it's like a horror type of thing, correct?
Yeah.
It's can you give us a little backstory on it?
Yeah. Black Rhapsody came about a few years ago while I was in my last 2 years of college. It was originally like a cringy, like edgy fan manga by teenagers, but I decided to repurpose it to make
Okay.
it more of a horror comic. Once I
Okay.
started familiarizing myself with different writing styles, like see the pitfalls that other writers get into when it comes to writing, I kind of like learned from that and decided to make a comic out of that.
Okay. I like the artwork a lot. I think like you nailed like that manga style big time here. Looks really
Yeah,
nice.
it's a horror comic about magical singers fighting a evil goddess turned pop star,
Nice.
and that's the
So
evil
it's like
goddess.
Gem if Gem was like R-rated or something.
You can say that.
Is that like a good comparison? I love this image.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite image of everything here.
a good
Beautiful.
cover.
Yeah, a lot
work.
of people love the cover art as opposed to the variant cover I see.
Let me see the variant. Is this the variant?
No, you scroll
The one I'm
past it.
getting flipped off on. What's that?
No, it's the other one. It's at the top. You
Oh,
look
yeah.
past
Let me see.
it.
This one? No,
Yes, that's the variant.
this one right here. That one's not bad
Yes.
though. This one's really cool too. I mean, I think I prefer this one. It's just because it's so well made, but this one's not bad. If I got this one, I wouldn't be upset, you know. Some of these other images look good too. You know. Ooh, very very provocative there. But yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. And so now, when you are pointing out perks for people, what do you suggest?
For those that's only interested, I would suggest the featured perk that's at the top
Okay,
because you get more bang for your
Okay.
buck.
Okay. So you get all these prints. Is that what it?
You get
what
the
it is?
variant
Let's see.
as well as the not safe for work and variant cover of the book
Okay.
automatically.
Acrylic stand up. As safe for work prints, and you get the book. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. And then if you just want the digital version, you can get it here, and then actually just the book is here as well.
Yeah.
Is it the size of like a manga book,
Yes.
or is it like what's the size of the comic?
It's the size
What's
of
that?
a manga book, so it's a bit smaller.
Oh, it
than a
is.
regular
Okay,
comic
so that's
book.
like what is that? That's like a 6x9 or something like that.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. Johnny, how's it? Say something.
How am I now? Do I sound
Yeah,
better?
better. Yeah, good.
a lot
good.
better.
Yep.
Awesome.
So we're going over the Black Rhapsody Indiegogo here. So so you're saying is that what's the manga size? 6x9? Did you say it was about that?
I think it's either 6x9 or 5x10. If I last time I checked,
Okay, 5x10. Okay.
for a
That's not
manga
bad.
size.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, this looks. Amy said it looks better.
That was a great description, though, Keith. Like the dark side of Gem. I like
yes.
that.
Yeah, the variant is very spicy, according to Roland. Yeah,
I like
I
spicy.
agree. Yeah, I mean, Johnny, did you see how spicy it is? Look at this. Let me scroll down here. It like first of all, we're getting
Past it,
flipped
that's
off
not the
here.
variant.
So, I mean, it's a little.
That's not the
all right, so the
variant. That's the pinup
spiciness
prints.
starts here. Uh-oh.
That's
I
the
like the
pinup
prints,
prints.
too.
Oh, these are
Look
the
at the
prints.
curves on that one. Blah, 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 boom. Love it.
Yeah, so censored. That's really cool. But yeah, no, I like the idea of this book. Yeah, what was I gonna say? So how like when you say you have the horror elements in there, what are you referring to? Is it like monsters? Is it like
you scroll past it.
Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. So these are the monsters of the book?
Yeah, or at least one of them.
What are they inspired by? Are they kind of like
I inspired them from like bubblegum pop idol groups, as well as the Greek goddesses of vengeance, the Furies.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. I can see that.
Now, is it going to be like a monster of the week kind of thing, where each issue would be a different monster, or do you have kind of a like a Vecna or like a overarching monster that for your story?
There's gonna be overarching villains and monsters that come after the main character. These are just one of them.
Gotcha.
Cool,
How many issues do you vision this series?
I plan on making it ongoing.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I mean, certainly it's like got enough of an idea to do that, so that's cool. You didn't go for a video, huh, for your campaign?
I kept forgetting to get a trailer. Unfortunately, I didn't get one in time.
Oh, okay.
Because I
it didn't
became
seem
busy
to
with other
affect
things.
your it
Sure.
didn't seem to affect your funding, so that's always good. And you're at like 141%. And you're doing another 30 days. You already had 30 days, correct? And then this is the second
This
30
is the
days.
extension.
Nice. So now, what your stretch goals? I don't know. I may have missed that in the in between. You said you just hit one. Do you have others planned now?
Yes, the next one is like a colored version of the book.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So right now it's a black and white book.
Yes.
So one of the stretch goals will be color. Excellent.
Roland says he ignores the trailers anyways. Yeah, so I wonder why. I wonder if that's the new thing. If I should do a trailer or not.
I agree. I don't think trailers are that important personally.
As long as the campaign looks good, I think that might be the thing.
Some people prefer trailers.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm planning on doing one for my campaign, but I think that the sweet spot is to stay within a minute, so it's not too long, and show a bunch of shots of the comic rather than someone talking at the camera,
Yep, I agree with that.
Go. So, but yeah, this looks good. I recommend it. I mean, if you like manga, if you take Gem and put her in a horror movie, this is kind of what you're gonna get.
I backed. I can't wait to get my copy.
When do you when is the book going to be finished, Missrena?
Hopefully by April of next year, April 2023. But if we hit the color stretch goal, it might have to be pushed back to accommodate the production process for the book. Yes.
How far are you into the book right now? Do you have any just these pages done?
My artist recently gave me like 3 more pages.
Okay.
So we're getting there.
So just to clarify on that color stretch goal, would color then replace the black and white, or would you get both a black and white and a color version?
Oh, good question.
You will get both. Well, some people have the option to get both a black and white color version, but if we do hit the colored stretch goal, people who get the feature tier will automatically get the colored book along with black and white if they choose to.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's take a look too. I have Craig's big cartel store open here. So is this your newest comic, Craig?
Yeah. So I got that funded through Kickstarter last year. So September.
Cool.
October. Yeah, if you want, I can find a link for that if you want me to send that to you.
Yeah, I can take a look. Does it still have the campaign video on there? Does it have like footage of the comics, or is it just you talking at the camera? But this dude looks interesting. What's the storyline on this comic?
So the process, because I love collecting old video games, he's kind of an amalgamation of like Mario is a blue collar worker. I'm a big fan of Punch Out and Little Mac, and obviously Mega Man.
Yeah.
So I kind of combined all three, like a boxer, blue collar, robot kind of guy. So, so the story is it's kind of like Toy Story meets Wreck-It Ralph, where a kid in like the early 90s gets a console, and that's the packing game, and it's told from his perspective, and like it's told in three parts. It's all in one book. So the first part of the book is the kid. There it is, and is the kid like playing with the character? they're like becoming inseparable. Like they get other games, but he's kind of like the main one he goes to. The second part, the kid gets a little bit older, gets newer consoles that don't work with his cartridge, so he plays them less and less. And like as the book goes on, he gets older. Like the kid goes to college and other things happen. So it's kind of like a coming of age story in a way where he feels like, okay, what's going on? Like, is he ever going to come back to me?
Oh, okay.
I love that. I love that progression of time, the way it's told like that. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this dude. He looks kind of like Little Mac. I see the influence there now.
Yeah, and I have a copy with me right here. I can show you some pages. I know it's something.
Yeah. Pop it open. Let me
see if you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of a few other characters. Like I drew like a hockey character.
It looks like a thick book. Is it how many pages is it?
It's 60
pages.
Yeah,
oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So to give you a frame of reference, I started writing in 2017.
Okay.
I started the art in June of 2018, and I finished the art probably like May of 2020. Like basically the last third of the book. we're all on furlough in the pandemic, so like I just treat like a 40-hour work week job, like 5 days a week, just like for my like maybe a week before I went to furlough, just banged all of like 20 pages out, ink, color, drawing.
Oh wow.
And I remember telling Johnny about this like maybe 2019, where I'm like, yeah, I have a book coming out, I'm drawing it, I'm gonna draw it, I'm gonna write it, and he's just it's chuckling, he goes, good luck with that, you're a maniac.
Yeah, it sounds like something I'd say. Which, I mean, I've always been thoroughly impressed with people who can do it all independently. Yourself, Jay Moores, I all cite as examples of people who, they can do all, everything all in one. And you save money. You don't have to hire out work, but it takes forever, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta go.
Okay. Well, thanks for
thank
joining
you for
us.
coming on the show. We appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No
have a good one.
Good night.
Good night. Best of luck.
Bye. Good night.
Okay. And then the one thing I was going to ask you, Craig, what's the name Corp Mascot? Where did that come from? Is that the name of the boxer?
So yeah, it's his name. I mean, my friends, I just call him Scott because I'm bad at naming things. So
okay.
So the idea it started as a slam poem I did in college, and I adapt that into a small comic project for one of my illustration classes. And it's kind of like a play on the early 90s where like all the platformer mascots, like how like when Sonic and Mario, there was Era the Acrobat, there was Awesome Possum, there was like all these.
Yeah, they have like weird names like Liquid Snake.
Oh god, yeah, like,
that's like right, or like what was it, Revolver Ocelot?
Revolver Ocelot, that was my favorite.
That's the best. But is it something like that? Is it supposed to be like a weird like video game kind of name? Okay, now I get it. I just wanted to I wanted to see what that meant. Like now I see what you're going for here, Yeah,
it's kind of like you just kind of like you're going like you're a corporal the corporate mascot, like Sonic or Crash Bandicoot or
I get
Spyro
it. Corporate mascot. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, it's corporal. Like he was like a corporal, and like that's kind of like I was playing it off as, but I kind of shortened it. Like some people do get it off the bat, but it's a little subtle. Where like when people don't get it, I'm like, oh, okay, it actually kind of plays in my favorites. Like, they don't know what it means yet.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's got that dual kind of name to it, like where
I like that.
It's like a little bit of weird video game thing, but then it's also like it's just telling you what it is, which is great. I have
a thing for puns, so
I like that a lot.
I can appreciate a good pun.
And then let me look at your campaign real quick. Do you remember if the video is it shots of the book or is it?
It's me talking and shots of the book, so it's kind of the opposite of what you guys were saying.
Oh, okay. Is it long?
Is it long or can we run it?
That is a good question. Let me see really quick. I think maybe like 2-3 minutes.
I could hit play and see.
Oh, it's like 1:39. It's not too long.
Run it, Keith. Roll that footage.
Okay. Hopefully I put the audio on. Let me know if you guys don't hear it.
Hi.
Can you hear it?
I'm Craig Holland. You might remember me from such Kickstarters as Color Me Reggie. I'm here to share with you my newest Kickstarter project, our adventure with Corporal Mascot, which I'm the illustrator and writer for. Let's take a look. Our adventure with Corporal Mascot follows the titular video game character named Corporal Mascot. Imagine that it's 1992. A young player opens their last present on a snowy birthday. Under that wrapping is the newest video game console, the Exodus 24, with its sought-after packing game, Corporal Mascot. After some adjustments and training, they become a dynamic team. No puzzle could stump them, no jump was too high, and no boss was too daunting to overcome. However, there's one obstacle Corporal Mascot didn't anticipate: the next console. As the player grows, consoles become more and more advanced, leaving our hero collecting dust on the shelf. Can they reunite for one last adventure? Guess you'll have to find out. What you can get through this campaign includes stickers, bookmarks, art prints, your name in the book, and much, much more. The art for the book is 100% complete. All I would need before printing is to add your name somewhere on here. Thank you for taking the time to check out my Kickstarter campaign. I hope you pledge to it. That's game on.
I like it, dude. I like it.
It's
Love
what's
that.
funny
That was
is
awesome.
like,
That's actually It's a good campaign video because you get in. You even though you're talking, you're telling the story and you're showing the artwork, and it's short. Like I've seen campaign videos like 3-4 minutes long, and it's like too much.
That gave me exactly everything I need to know about the character. Like immediately, like he seemed like a proxy to Mega Man for me. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what the like almost like a love letter to Mega Man. And
but I get like.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you get that Toy Story element that you're talking about with with the new game console, and then like the old characters left behind, and like you don't know, you're trying to the old characters trying to be relevant again, So like
it's a good mix of the two. I think the concepts.
Okay.
Plus, it's video game, so automatically that's I think that hooks people, especially like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Was the best, So, let me just take a look at some of the artwork.
Now, is this a one-shot story, or do you have additional issues?
So I have an idea for a follow-up. I mean, it's very early in the development, so I probably won't see anything for a few years. But that's it's going to be sort of a I don't want to say a direct sequel, but it'll be kind of like a continuation because I love drawing all those 4 characters, but I'm like, it kind of sucks. I won't be able to get them all in one story again. And I thought of something. I'm like, I don't want to give too much away, but it's gonna be about like a retro video game store.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, like I thought of an idea. Like I was just kind of just killing time at a convention. I'm like, damn it, I thought of an idea.
Are they actually in the video game, or are they in the real world? Like, what is the?
So it's kind of like they're in like their own little cartridges. Like there's scenes where like the other characters you see like the TNT, the space cowboy, the hockey player, they're all kind of in other games, but they all kind of like. I kind of make a joke about it too, how like like file sizes get bigger, where they try to invite like a couple generations later, and it's like you just see I'm just going to find it just because it's a funny gag. Let's see.
It kind of reminds me. That aspect reminds me of Captain N, also where it's multiple characters.
I love Captain N.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like in the middle point of the book where they're trying to like make Good Gracious like the newer console, and like, oh hey, their file size is way too big, so they can't fit in their house.
I like that.
Thank you. And just and one little thing in the video, I'm surprised no one's caught on that, where I make a Troy McClure reference. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such and such as.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if anyone's gonna pick up on this. And I'm like, no one did.
Well, I think it's got really nothing to do with The Simpsons, so you kind of miss that whole thing,
Yeah.
I think that might be why. I like the concept a lot, though. All right, so quick Mike Tyson question: who was the worst boxer to face in that game?
In the original one?
I mean, besides Tyson, I think Mr. Sandman was the worst.
Yeah, I'd say probably him or Super Macho Man.
Super Macho Man,
Yeah,
I'd
it
say.
was tough. Yeah.
I had a lot of problem with Bald Bull at first too.
Did you really?
And,
I actually
and
knew
so did
somebody that.
Popinski.
You guys won't believe this. I actually knew somebody that got knocked out by King Hippo.
Oh no!
like who the hell got knocked out by King Hippo? He was the easiest freaking character to fight.
You really have to be off the rails.
You have to
King
be
Hippo.
so bad at games to get knocked out by King Hippo.
Oh,
I know, right?
What's funny is I actually played the Super Punch Out one more than the original because our Nintendo didn't work frequently. So like Super Punch Out, I can go through like
one
nothing.
in the arcade games or the
home
one
console
for Nintendo.
Yeah,
No,
Super NES Super Punch Out, right?
Yeah, like that I can walk through like nothing, but then I think back, oh yeah, but I'm like that actually helped me to beat some of the bosses in that because like Ball Bowls in that, Sandman, Super Macho Man. I think there might be one other character in there too, or that could be it. But
do you guys remember the arcade game where it had the handles and you're like,
I remember
that was so hard to do. It was, but you were also just a grid. You remember that?
You were a
weren't even
wire
like a guy.
grid.
Yeah, you were like a wire grid.
It like reminded me of Tron.
Yeah. That was great stuff.
It was smart on their. It was smart on their part because I remember watching a video where on Roland's comment,
the 64 version of Resident Evil 2 was one of the largest cartridges in the system's library at 64 meg and weighed over 4 ounces.
That's impressive. Yeah,
yeah, I remember that. But anyways, yeah, what were you saying, Craig?
Like I watched a video by the gaming historian on YouTube. If you guys don't watch him, his videos are just top notch.
Historian? What was it?
He just goes by gaming historian. His name is Norm Caruso.
Okay.
He did one about Punch Out a couple of years ago, and he did the whole history from like when it was in our Concede and all the way up to like I think it was modern day and Super Punch Out. And the reason they did the wireframe is because they didn't have the technology to do the like a transparency like in the early 80s. That's why like
you had to be able to see through it because of the way the perspective was. So I don't blame them. It was just weird at the time, you know. But I think I've seen some videos by that guy. I like he probably did some on Dragon's Lair and Space Ace that I watched. You know, so I've probably seen that. I'll have to watch the Punch Out one because I am fascinated with the history of that game.
It's his videos can be longer, like sometimes they're 20 minutes. Like I think that one's about 40 minutes.
Okay.
But it's like it literally because he was a history major, so like it's not like he just Wikipedia stuff. He actually he emails like the people who were involved with it. He gets like people that come on and stuff. Like it's basically like a Ken Burns documentary, like for every episode he does, and
it's like behind the music.
I gotta read Harry's comment. He said there should be a new Mike Tyson Punch Out game. Only this time the guy Mike punched on the plane is the one training to fight Tyson. I love that.
Actually, so nowadays with the way the climate is, it wouldn't be Mike Tyson's Punch Out as much as it would be Will Smith's slap fight.
Oh, it's a spiritual successor,
right? You have to just be on your way to try to win an Oscar, and then Will Smith steps in. No, even better. You're just a comedian trying to tell a joke, and then Will Smith. You have to just dodge Will Smith.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Hart. You play as Kevin Hart because that way you're smaller than everybody.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh my god, so bad. But yeah. So it looks like the Kickstarter was really successful, Craig. So that's great. And when did you launch this? A while ago?
I think maybe mid-September 2021, and then it wrapped up like a month later. So it was
kind of recent. Kind of recent then.
Yeah, it was. It had a bit of a slow start, then it really picked up toward the end. I was not expecting because I think if there was a pandemic, I was gonna launch. What was that? Oh, I thought you said something, Johnny. Sorry.
No, sorry.
I was initially, if there was a pandemic, going to launch around that time anyway. But the fact that I got it done in early 2020 with the artwork, it gave me more time to like think things through, like make sure I get the book, like make sure I proofread it. So it was just so surreal, like actually I had them stacked next to my table right now, that like seeing it all printed and just like shipping out to people. What's really funny is they delivered to my house like in a snowstorm, like in mid-January, and I have a onesie I wore just. It was my Halloween costume, like going outside my dragon onesie, bringing the boxes in, and I just moved into my condo, and I'm like, okay, I hope for my neighbors. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
That's pretty
But
funny.
just even part of the fulfillment process and being able to send out your book to people, there's as much work as it is, it's kind of gratifying too,
Yeah.
Well, once you fulfill, it's like you have that bragging right now, and it also automatically makes people feel confident in you in the next campaign that you do.
Yep.
So you get that cred immediately. Although if you don't fulfill, that's just the opposite. No one's going to back you.
Right.
So it's always like that game. But the other thing I was going to say, Craig, was like your price is really good for like a 60-page book. $15.
Yeah.
That was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I try to be as reasonable as I can because I'm like I don't want to gouge people. I'm like I want people to enjoy it. Like, okay, that's a fair price. I don't want to be like,
yeah, for the amount of work versus and then your printing costs too. So you got to factor all that in, and I think 15 is more than reasonable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. And how's the reception been at like Comic-Cons and if you heard from any of the backers?
I've only really been able to go to one Comic-Con with this.
Okay.
But I've had people like this guy, my friend Rob. He has a couple podcasts, and he just like gave like a glowing review. Like people are, I'll get tags every once in a while. Like, oh my god, this is not what I was expecting. Like in a good way. Like,
oh, good.
Like it's kind of like the reason I made it was kind of like I'm at an age where I go to conventions. I see people who are like like grew up in like the 80s, 90s, like having kids. Like, oh yeah, I grew up with this, and it's kind of like the reason. Like kind of like the looking back, and I think that a lot of people kind of get that. Where like my friend Rob was kind of around that age, like other people were there too. Like my best friend, one of my best friends, he funded it, and he's just like, and he has a kid who's like about 5 years old now, and he's like, okay, like I get it, and like I can't wait for him. And he actually put his name in the book instead of his own, so that's why.
Oh, cool.
Like, he's
cool.
like, oh my god. I want my. And he like had it on his table. He's showing like, oh my, we're at the Super Bowl. He's like, guys, you gotta look at this before the game starts.
Nice.
Yeah,
it has a little bit of like that Wreck-It Ralph quality to it too.
Yeah.
Is that sort of one of the inspirations?
Kind of, sort of. Like it's fun when I did the project like back in college. Like it was kind of at the same time I saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
And it wasn't back then. It wasn't entirely intentional, but like it's kind of like there isn't much video game like.
No, I mean that was like probably the biggest thing for a long time. I think
Yeah, because I know video game movies like outside of like a based off an established property is kind of hit and miss.
Yeah,
it's not as like you can make like a I don't want to say like a generic superhero movie, but you can make like you get what I'm saying, where it's like you can do like it's a movie about like Megamind, for example. You can make up your own heroes and call it its own world. You don't see that as often with video games,
right?
From what I've noticed. So it's
it's always like the actual video game property being made into a movie or a show.
Yeah,
and then you never see like a movie about like video game characters that are just generic, So right. I guess Wreck-It Ralph is like the kind of the first thing that came along,
Yeah, kind of like cool. Even though they did have like actual cameos, but it's like it kind of works because it's like you get the idea. It's like they're supposed to like interact with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And then they also worked hard to make Wreck-It Ralph seem like he was a real video game, but like and it played on the whole Donkey Kong formula.
Yeah,
I love that.
I hadn't seen that since like Captain N. Yeah. There was another show that took like acclaimed characters specifically, and they were a team. Like Bigfoot was one of the characters, and Kirby, Q*bert and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
but way back, Johnny, you might remember this. Craig's a lot younger than us, but like there used to be a Saturday morning cartoon called Saturday Arcade or something like that. Saturday morning arcade or something like that. It was like an hour's worth of different cartoons that were just video games, like base cartoons. Like they had Q*bert had his own cartoon. I think Pitfall had a cartoon. That shows you how far back it is.
If it's Pitfall, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, as a deep
That's
cut.
pretty
And
deep.
then,
Yeah, it's old school.
yeah, and what was the other one? The other one was Donkey Kong, and there was a fourth one. Oh, Frogger. That shows you else. And then also Pac-Man had a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Do you remember that?
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
they took everything
Oh, I
from,
remember Pac-Man. Yeah, I do remember the Pac-Man.
but
cartoon.
they kind of ruined it. It was like just a weird, like, it wasn't even really like what you wanted from a Pac-Man cartoon. It was really bizarre. But Saturday Supercade, that's what it was. Someone just said it in the audience. That's what it was called, Saturday Supercade. If you look up the intro on YouTube, you'll get a kick out of it. It's pretty awesome.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's especially if you like old school video game stuff. The cartoons were kind of but the intro got you pumped up. You know, it was like this is going back like circa 1983, I think. You know, so
that sweet spot before like when Saturday morning cartoons were starting to like take flight.
Yes, when Saturday morning cartoons were big, and also when the arcades were huge too.
Oh yeah,
before the big crash in like what was it, 86 or 85, 86 before.
Yeah, like the home video
dying.
Yeah, like the home video game console, like, or the market kind of crashed in 83. And it's funny reading like because I read the book. Did you read the book NBA Jam? Or the book
no.
So
about the game, about the video game NBA Jam? Or?
Yeah, so someone made a book about it. I think his name is Renyan Ali. He made a book. He published a book about a couple of years ago. It talked about. It's a small book. I don't think I have it in this room, but it's about like the history of like, you know, Midway and like Mark Trammell and how like the video game scene was a bit seedy in the early 80s. Like it was more for adults, and it kind of.
I talk about that often. Like when I used to go to arcades when I was a kid, the thing I always loved about the arcades is it looked like kids didn't quite belong there because it was always like dark rooms. Like Johnny, did you ever go to an arcade when you were a kid?
Oh, of course. I mean,
it was always dark and like dingy, like it just it didn't belong. And then like that's what I love about Fun Spot up in New Hampshire. Like the old school arcade area is exactly like that. And it was
fun and
like
games
heaven to me. You know?
I don't know if they're still open or not, but place was a lot like that too.
Which one?
Fun and Games in Framingham.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I don't know if it's still open either.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still open or not.
But I find that arcades are kind of lame now. Like the ones that still exist, like Dave and Buster's. It's like everything is made by this one company called Raw Thrills, and it's like there's nothing raw or thrilling about any of the games they make.
It's like all Buck Hunter and pretty much stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like a variation on Buck Hunter, you know, but
it's like Buck Hunter and like the Golden Tee game.
Yeah. Exactly. Stuff you would find in a bar, you know. Give me the old school days though. That's the stuff I love, you know.
I live in Maine now. There's a barcade I've been my fiance has been telling me to go to, but we went to Round 1, which is sort of like a Dave and Buster's, but it has like a bowling alley and actually has some decent arcade games. Like they have the newer Ninja Turtle beat 'em up game. They have like the generic ones, so like the crane games and stuff, but they have like Daytona USA. They had a really fun Halo game, oddly enough, where I'm like, okay, they have like a variety of things, so I can like let this be like, okay, I can work with this.
Yeah, there's stuff you can play. Yeah, those arcade bars are starting to become a thing. Like there's one in Northampton that's not bad. It has a lot of the old games, like old stuff, you know, like I actually played sorry to get on this tangent, but I love video games. But they actually had the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game.
Oh wow.
And my God, is that game creepy. Have you guys ever played that game?
No, I've never played it.
I've seen video.
The whole
I've never
point
played
is that you rescue kids, like, and it's like, oh my God, it's like
it just doesn't hold up as well as it used to.
when you unlock, when you free the kids, he does like the like, you know, the Michael Jackson move, and it was just like, I don't know,
all types of age not well.
Creepy to me. But was that Johnny?
Oh yeah, it didn't age very well, right?
No, not at all. But it was cool. I had never seen that video game out in the wild. Like I remember they had it on I think Sega Genesis.
Well, I was just gonna say I remember it coming home to home consoles being exclusive to Sega. So you
Right,
couldn't
and
get
I
that
never
on
knew it was a
Nintendo.
game, like an actual arcade game. I thought it was just a game made for Sega, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool. Like some of those, there's a, I don't know if it's still open, but there's a bar, arcade bar in Salem too. But they could have been decimated with the pandemic. I don't know if it's still
I just
open.
Googled to pleasantly be surprised to find that Fun and Games has been open still
Oh,
since
good.
1974.
Roland is saying that the Genesis version of Moonwalker is way better.
Oh.
Okay. And my wife is saying you rescue kids in quotes. Yeah, and this one, Pinball Wizard Arcade in Pelham, was great.
I was gonna say that because I used to work in Pelham for a number of years, and I went in there a few times. Like, this is awesome, and then the owners were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get rid of it."
Yeah, I
a lot of
wanted
good
to
stuff,
go
too.
there like a year ago, and I looked it up, and they were closed. And I was like, "Damn!" Like I only been there once, and I loved it though. It was like all pinballs mostly, but
Yeah.
they still had like old school, couple old school arcade games, and they had that new championship version of Pac-Man that's kind of fun to play with a bunch of people. You know?
Oh, the 4-player Pac-Man?
Yeah, I love that.
That's
where
my
you kinda,
absolute
like,
favorite.
where you
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
kill each other rather than the ghost and stuff. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. But yeah, all right, we can get back to comics.
Yeah, we're so
I just,
sidetracked. Yeah.
video games like Craig
Well,
and
when
Johnny.
your comic goes hand in hand with video games, right?
Yeah.
You're bound to sidetrack.
Oh yeah, definitely. And my wife said that's a bummer about pinball. It really was like it was a nice alternative to Fun Spot. Now it's just Fun Spot, you know. But I still go up. I love going to Fun Spot at least once a year. You know, I love going up there and just playing old school games. You know, gotta get in that Ghost and Goblins kick, and you know,
Yeah.
I gotta get my Smash TV in. So
Smash
Oh,
TV,
right on.
APP. Remember APP? That was always a fun one. Where you had to beat suspects and like you know that was always good.
I have a few arcade machines that are deep cuts that I'd be lucky if I can even find anywhere.
Go
Like,
ahead.
there was
I
one that
probably
was
heard
called
about.
Air Geese.
What is it?
There was one called Air Geese, and it was like Tekken, but like Tekken like a fighter.
yeah, I
But
don't
it had Final Fantasy characters.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
so you could play as Cloud Strife, Sephiroth. You know,
Wow, I don't think
you know,
I'm familiar with that one.
oh, it was such a fun game, and there was an arcade version, so it was on Dreamcast, I believe. But there was
Okay.
also an arcade version, and I would always play that. It was so much fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's I would get into deep cuts, but it would be like stuff from like 82, you know?
Right.
That's where my deep cuts going. I grew up in that age with the Commodore 64 and like, you know, all that stuff, the old school arcade and, you know, just really like pixelated, you know, like little
like
dots and, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, Atari 2600 level of graphics, you know. But I stayed with video games all along. Some people grow out of it. Me, I've gone with every console that's come out since, you know. And currently,
Same, but I don't have the time to play, unfortunately.
my time
At least
is
not as often as I'd like.
that's for sure. I only have time now at night for like stuff like Halo, where I can just jump on, you know, smoke people for like, you know, 5 to 10 minutes on a round and then jump right out, you know. That's what I like to do. So
How about your video game playing, Craig?
yeah, you still playing, keeping up with all the consoles and all that stuff?
I try to like. I think to give you like a frame of reference, I was big in the PS2. I missed the PS3, Xbox 360 era. I got back into everything with a 2DS, a Wii U, like 2014, 2015, and I have a Switch now. And what's funny is my fiance has to force me to play video games because I'm like, I gotta get stressed out. She's like, no, you're gonna play a game and just take out your aggression there.
Right on.
And I'm playing.
It is. I mean, okay, so video games are sort of like a double-edged sword. They are a time sucker, so it's so easy to get lost in that and not get anything real done, you know, like so I get that. And Johnny, I get why you have no time because, you know, I get days where it's the same, where I don't play for months and months because you got more important things to do, like run a convention or make a comic book, you know.
I'd lose 8 to 10 hours at a time playing Skyrim, you know, these long form RPG games.
That's
you know?
the thing. They make those games so you just sit there for hours. And Amy said Keith takes out his aggression and it's not healthy. LMAL.
Oh.
And what she's referring to is when I lose, I curse out our pets. So,
Whiskers, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. No, more like F you, Whiskers, you know? Well, it's better than smashing a controller, which is what I used to do when I was a kid, you know?
I still do that.
Do you really?
Controls. So I'm less destructive with my controllers. I used to do the twist. You know,
and just snap it.
And you snap it because, like, and that's like, fuck, my controller's broken. You're hucking against the
It
wall.
was easier with the
At least
8-bit
it's a chance you could survive.
Yeah. The
wall might
Nintendo
be
8-bits
not,
were
but-
easier, right?
No
to
good.
twist. What'd you say, Johnny?
I said to mangle the controller in your own hands, no good. You huck it against the wall, at least there's a chance it could survive.
Well, the Nintendo ones were like woo woo woo, right into the wall. Yeah,
Like swing it like Thor's hammer.
yeah. My brother broke a few that way, but yeah, no, those games used to get you mad, man.
Oh god.
You know, Mario World or Super Mario Brothers. I used to get my blood boiling, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when you get so close to rescuing the princess and you die by Bowser. It's like, ah!
There's one game I have like a love-hate relationship with. It's Mickey Mania for the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I remember that game.
It is a beautiful looking game, but my god, that is just something is just off about it. I like the controls. I don't know what it is. Like I try to beat it and I'm like freak. Like I don't know why that blows my blood over anything else. Probably it's just like a Disney proper. I'm like, mother of and I can't finish it. I'm like, I gotta shut this off and just go do something else.
That's one of those games where the pixels and like 2D animation, like the lines blurred a little bit. You know, it looked really good.
Oh yeah,
for a pixelated game. You know.
Oh yeah,
it still looks amazing. It like holds up.
Yeah,
because it was like hand drawn. I think it was hand drawn, and then it got converted into pixel. I can't remember the full process.
Is it kind of like what they did with Donkey Kong Country? Remember how amazing that looked when it first came out? Where it wasn't did something weird like that.
It was because like that was digitized. Where I think this was because Capcom had the Disney license up until the early 90s, and I think it was Virgin Interactive that took over, and I think they had Disney animators do. I want to say that game, maybe oh god, what was it? Lion King, like Hercules too, like those kind of games.
Yeah, they all.
I was gonna say
good.
DuckTales on NES was my jam.
Oh god,
like I love that Capcom era of Disney.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember liking that too at that time.
Those are bangers. Those are so good.
Sorry to the audience that this became indie video game related. But
we're just sharing our love.
Yeah, it's nice to talk about, and the audience seemed to be in it with the comments. So.
Well, let's circle it back around. Now, Craig, you said that there's possibility for a book in the future. If you had to put a timestamp on it, I mean, not to commit to anything, but what would you say?
I'm gonna say tentatively, maybe 5 years, because I have two things I want to do beforehand. Where one, I'm in the process of starting a webcomic with my fiance.
Oh,
cool.
It's about us and our cats. I mean, not really much to it, you know. It's
but hey, if you start it and promote it, you know, it can become a thing.
If there's something there, there's something there.
Yeah.
And then another thing is there's another comic I have where it's could be I think a 24 to 28 page where it's a one shot idea and it's kind of started as a joke. Where it's the script's written, everything's thumbnailed. I just gotta get time to like actually draw it out. It's called the Banana Man Slayer.
Okay.
I love it.
It's basically the premise is about a comic book artist who he fights guys with banana costumes and maracas, and he ends up infiltrating a cult of these guys, like sabotaging artists. And there's a story behind this.
I love it.
So back in 2019, I think it was Terrificon, where I'm in this row with like the way the God bless Mitch, he does a great show, but like it was one year where like some of the aisles weren't like meshing well, so nobody went in our aisle.
Yeah, I know. I know what year you're talking about. We got hit with that too.
Yeah, Like,
I know where this is going too.
And so
I already know the inspiration here.
And so it was like Fry's at a convention, the 3-day show. It's dead. There's a guy with steel maracas, and we could hear him across the airplane hangar size room, like hearing this guy steal maracas, and we're like, stop. And he never went down our aisle, but I was like going to the bathroom.
But yeah, you felt like you were there with him the entire time.
Yeah, and we're like guy, like, come on, you gotta do this the entire time. And I at one point I said to people in my row, like, if he comes to this row, because at the time I was lifting weights, I was going to the gym regularly. If he comes down this row, I'm gonna punch him square in the face. and every time, and like the next couple days he show, like he didn't go down a row, but you could hear him coming close. People would just grin at me like, now's your chance. and I was just so like, I have downtime. I just doodle like Banana Man, me punching them. And then I got to a point where I'm like, and I was watching Unsolved Mysteries at the time, like the one from the 90s. So like I watched the Son of Sam episode, and the way my mind works, I'm like, oh God, I have an idea. I cannot like.
Yeah. You mixed the two together.
I need to see this to fruition.
Well, that's a good idea about taking your aggression out in your drawing. I did the same thing. I used to work at a comic store back in like 1998 that was big on Beanie Babies. Remember when Beanie Babies were
Oh
big?
yeah.
God.
And the store put all their money into Beanie Babies. So that's all that came into the store with people looking for those things. And some of the most irritating collectors of all time, like they were concerned about like the label, not being bent and all this shit. And I used to get so mad, like exactly like you with the maracas. So I would sit there and draw like myself, like biting the heads off of Beanie Babies and throwing them at the customers and stuff. And that's how I took out my aggression. But
So I recall the Banana Maraca guy, and I recall him at a different show.
Okay.
And and I understand where you're coming from. I'm going to justify this for you, right? Because when you're experiencing a show, and maybe it's if you're not doing well, nothing compounds that frustration worse than some dumb asshole in a banana costume maracking his way across the floor.
Oh, it's so true.
Over again.
I
true. Felt the same way. It was Super Mega Fest one year, and it was one of the last times I've ever exhibited at Super Mega Fest. And when you're miserable, you see this guy
and you just want to be like
shaking his maracas
and having the time of his life.
Triggers.
Right. Well, no, I think that's true, and I think we've all experienced that when the show's not going our way, and you try to stay positive, but it's really hard to do,
Yeah.
And like Carrie said, peanut butter jelly time here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're at 90 minutes, so I'd like to start wrapping up.
Well, so before we wrap up, can we show Phil's video from his page?
Yes, we'll do that. Actually, before we do that, anything else, Craig, you wanted to say about the comic?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. Like coming of age story. Try to keep the synopsis kind of simple. So
gotcha. And if people wanted to go to your, let me share your Big Cartel store.
Big Cartel page. It should be in the description of the video as well, right?
Yeah, hang on. Let me put it here. Yep, it'll be there. I think I put it in the description, but there's the link if anyone wants to check out this comic. Will you also have it at Plastic City?
Yeah, I'll definitely have it at Plastic City.
Okay, so and you can buy it from Craig directly at Plastic City and get it signed.
Nice.
And let's take a look real quick at Purple Eyes. Doesn't look like he didn't do a video either, huh? It must be a thing now. People like doing videos. Had a video in there.
Well, basic idea of Purple Eyes is 72 hours. Your eyes turn purple 72 hours before you die, and it's an anthology based around that concept.
So what would you do with that 73 minutes, right?
Oh, 73 minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea. I mean, I'm not hopeful. He's got 6 days. This is a lot of ground to make up. Yep. You never know. We've seen last minute miracles,
For sure.
That's
yeah,
still
so-
admirable. 6,700 is admirable.
Yeah, that's really good.
Absolutely, yeah.
For an anthology.
So it's a 250-page book that he aggressively priced low. So it's a bargain if you want to scoop it, but it's a struggle for him to try to meet that goal. And to think you're not just supporting him, but you're supporting all the creators that make up the 250 pages of the book.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is every page illustrated like this, black and white and purple?
I'm not certain, unfortunately. I think it's predominantly black and white with purple.
Oh, okay. This is the cover.
The cover's gorgeous. Oh, I guess.
Oh yeah,
not.
no, it looks like it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different things. Looks pretty cool. I like the concept a lot. It reminds me of like Captain Trips in The Stand or something like that. Like you when your nose starts bleeding and you're almost done,
Right, or The Ring. You watch The Ring and then see you got 7 days,
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a buffer time limit where you slowly start to degrade,
Yeah, definitely. Very cool concept. The art looks good. Yeah. Hopefully,
So it's got 6 days left. Don't forget to back it.
Yeah, so if you like horror stuff with I would say a little more personal drama thrown in, this is probably your thing. So yeah, check it out.
Yep.
And hopefully Phil makes it by the time. If not, it's a learning experience and he has to just rebrand it and try to do it again, and
right. Or maybe try a different platform. Or just spend 6 months promoting it as a pre-launch and then go live or something. I don't know. I don't know what
I did. Yeah.
This goal is pretty high for a book,
Right.
And I think you're onto something there, Johnny, with the pricing. Like for the amount of pages, it probably should be priced a little higher.
Yeah, it's a bargain right now,
Yeah, maybe you could even look to doing a hardcover and price it at 50 or something. What'd you say, Johnny? I'm sorry.
For the early bird special, it backed on day one, $15.
Oh wow,
it's a bargain,
Yeah, for
not much.
How much pages? 260.
250 pages.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty low.
Very low.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully he makes it. Is this his first one?
No, he's come on the show before. When we had the open mic stuff, he has a series called Crackle, which is really awesome.
Okay.
And this one, it seems kind of like it's like a little bit of the flair from Crackle. But it's a bunch of creators. Whereas Crackle is normally all Phil. This is a variety of different creators. Gotcha. I wanted to submit to this one. I just didn't have the time to do a short, for it.
Well, maybe if it gets rebranded and if the Kickstarter doesn't make it, I'd say there's a chance. There's always a chance you could make it, but you should be probably a little closer to like 12 grand at this point. Rather than some ground to make up. So hopefully he can do it, but if not, maybe you have a shot to win it.
If looks like it's your style of book, don't hesitate to give it a throw it a few bucks.
All right, gentlemen, let's I'm gonna start wrapping up the show. So Craig, if you want to just let people know where they can find you and anything you want to promote last minute before we close it out.
Yep. So where you can find me, Facebook, Craig Holland Illustration, Instagram, Twitter @CHollandArt. Pretty much, most of my other branding, you can go and look C Holland Art. You can find that most other places. Website is CraigHollandIllustration.com. Pretty straightforward. So, and my website does have a link to my big cartel shop, and you can go to my social media from there. So,
okay, cool. Johnny, anything going on, Johnny?
Well, so really, I just want to thank Missrena. I want to thank Craig. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking the time to talk about yourself, promote your projects. We really greatly appreciate it. One more thing I wanted to just shout out. I'd be remiss if I did not. But our friends at Toking with the Dead just launched an Indiegogo.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
For what? What are they doing?
They're doing it for, I believe, episode 3 of their TV show adapted from their comic book. They have 56 days on a $30,000 goal, and they're still at the 0, but we're hoping we can get them some pledges.
Okay. All right. Well, those guys love to launch Indiegogos and not promote it ahead of time, so.
Well, yeah. So I've always told them, don't launch a campaign on a profile that doesn't have any backed campaigns, because that's not a good look. But I don't know if they did that here with this one, but fingers crossed that they
it's
hit
not
their
a good
goal.
look. And if you don't spend the time, actually, the most important thing to make a successful campaign is spending a couple months ahead of it, getting people aware of it, and
don't post with a wrong profile.
That's what I did. For the first one I did 2017. I went into it cold, didn't realize it, and then the second one I spent maybe at least 6 months beforehand, actually maybe a year, where I had the social media account, putting photos and videos up beforehand.
So the way to do it.
So that way, when people go to the Kickstarter, they see okay, it's not like it just started; it's been there for a little bit.
Yeah, and you kind of make it fun with your social media posts. You do you do 2 regular posts and then throw in a promo post. That's what I do on Twitter a lot.
Yeah,
and that was the way to do it. Show a panel from the book or something, and say, hey, this is what happened, and then you can sign up here or back it here. That kind of thing,
right.
And try to be persistent, but also you try to not have your timeline be all that, So,
right, not a bunch of buy my book. Book.
Yeah.
I did some silly
reference.
I did some silly stuff too, where there's a panel in the book where it's close up on the character's eyes, and I did the caption of, oh yeah, this one game will separate the men from the boys. Are you up for it? And you swipe, and it's just Sega Bass Fishing. Which I was playing on Steam, and I got really hooked into it during I think it was during maybe some point in 2020. I got onto Steam. My friends got me to PC gaming, where I'm okay, that actually, when you're by yourself all the time, it's actually good. And that was one game I picked up for nothing, and I'm oh, this is actually fun.
Nice.
I'm I should not be having fun with a bass fishing game, but all right.
Yeah.
You never know when a game just captures you, even if it's something that you don't
something silly. Yeah, definitely. All right, yeah, and obviously check out Black Rhapsody from earlier in the show. Also, signups for Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9 are happening right now. Probably going to launch that the week after Plastic City. Talking to Pete, I was going to do maybe before it. I'm that's probably not going to be a good idea. There's going to be too much going on. So maybe the week right after Plastic City, I might put it out there. And then Plastic City, July 16th. So all 3 of us will be there, I probably won't be set up, although I might put some of the copies of Mighty Mascots with Alterna.
We need you liberal to shush out the Fitchburg Flexer if he shows.
Oh God! You know what? I might let him stay this time.
So you can shush that guy away.
Yeah, he hasn't made an appearance since that second show. So
I know, right?
It'd be cool to see him. That guy stirred up a lot of talk. Yeah, Craig, were you at the show when that guy showed up?
No, I wasn't aware of this.
All right, so this guy, I never seen this happen at any other show, but this guy showed up our second year at Plastic City, and he stood right near the entrance to the hockey rink and took off his shirt and just stood there and just flexed, and would be like one of those frozen statues that you see when people, and he just kept doing different poses, and he wouldn't say nothing or move. So everybody would just come up to him and take a picture with him. There's a ton of them online, right, Johnny? It was
so awesome.
Most bizarre thing.
Do you remember what year it was?
I forget what year it was. It was when, John, it must have been 2017, maybe
2017 or 2018. Maybe?
Yeah,
okay, I might have been there for that. I think I vaguely remember this.
Yeah,
it was really bizarre, and
he was well dressed. He came to the front.
And then I
casually removed his jacket, casually popped off his shirt, and then started flexing like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it
Was
was
he in
really
decent shape?
bizarre. And then I went up to him and I asked him, I was like, what is this? What are you doing? And he said something about he's been working out and I don't know, he just wanted to show off his body or something. And then the second I said, I was like, all right. And then like the second I walked away, I think he put his shirt on and ran out of there. But
Yeah,
I don't know, I probably wouldn't
I think
say
you
anything
told him to keep
to
it
him.
moving. I remember you like.
Yeah, I think I
moving
said
along.
something like
Yeah.
that. But now I look in hindsight, I should have just let him stay there because people were having fun with him, you know. So
Right.
it's like it was cheaper than buying the Doctor Who phone booth, you know. to
The
be at the
TARDIS.
show. Right. But all right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
we're gonna wrap up this episode, and we'll be back in 2 weeks, right, Johnny?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right, everybody. Well, have a
2
great
weeks.
night. And we'll be back in 2 weeks and read some comics. All right, everybody. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.